You have a constant force that is trying to distract you from doing the work. And you are alone in this fight. And in order for you to be successful, you have to be able to control and focus your attention onto one thing for a long enough period of time until you get to a level of mastery. It's that simple for any profession, whether you want to be a pianist or you want to be an entrepreneur. You have to have focus and attention in order to do that. And so the big theme that I have seen in the hundreds of people that I have mentored since I started, Altercall 2 years ago is that people just don't know how to inoculate themselves against those forces. And the second theme is they don't want it bad enough. They claim they want it, but they really don't want it bad enough. They want it, but they're not willing to step out of their comfort zone. They want it, but they're not willing to change their morning routine. They want it, but they're not willing to change their diet. They want it, but they're not willing to change how they work out or exercise. They want it, but they're not willing to change themselves, their identity. They're not willing to address their ego. They're not willing to look at their shadow. They say they want it. They tell me, Ryan, I want it so bad. I want to be rich. I want to be successful. And I know deep down, they really don't want it because I wanted it. I wanted it so bad that I would change anything about me, including my name. I would change anything about me. I would change my identity. I would change the way I walked, the way I talked, the way I dressed, the way I spoke. I would change anything. That's how bad I wanted it. And when I started Altercall, I went back to those roots and I said, to my higher power, God, I said, I will change anything about me to be able to serve at my highest capacity. Because as an entrepreneur at Running by Solace, I was able to serve a lot of people, but I was never at my best.
Wonderful. I think this would be a perfect opportunity to tap into one of the themes I want to talk to you about, which is it seems like you've gone through a process of adapting to your environment and reinventing yourself many times over. And so if somebody's listening to this, and I'm gonna ask the question for them or on their behalf, which is how do you reinvent yourself and align yourself around your purpose? I've not been in a gang. I've not been shot at. I've not had to live this life. Can we distill some of the learnings from that life that seems pretty extreme? What can we learn and extrapolate from your experience?
There's a lot of people in the world. And so you can just decide you want to become a new person and get rid of all the old people and start over tomorrow. If you're looking at yourself in the mirror right now and you're like, all right, I want to become an artist. Great. Go out there and, buy the paintbrush and the palette and get to work and declare that you are now an artist. It's easier than you think. Now, once you make the decision, the hard work begins because you're going to face resistance. You're going to face resistance from your friends, from your lower self. You're going to face a ton of resistance when you make the declaration that you are going to step into a higher version of yourself and a new calling in your life. So it's easier than you think to make the decision to do it. After you make that decision to do it, it's hard work. But at the other end of it, you will look back at it and you'll realize that, the reward was far worth the risk, and that the 20 people that you left behind to go be a new person will attract 20 new people or even more that are even more pleasurable and exciting and inspiring to be around. And so when you get about a year into the reinvention, you will realize that you made the right decision. But for the first year, you got to be prepared to fight resistance each and every single day, every step of the way. I'm now 2 years into starting Altercall and my reinvention to be of service through entrepreneurship and to lead with my spirituality. And I can tell you that it's a dream come true. And I look back at the past 2 years and realize, wow, I had to overcome a lot of resistance. At first, there was a ton of forces lined up against me. For the first year, I had people trying to stop me. I had people trying to poison what I was doing. I had people laughing at me, saying I had become super religious, that I had hyper religious, they said. They said I'd overcorrected, I traded one addiction for another. There was a ton of that. And now those very same people that criticize me will say, wow, look at all the people you're helping. And I bumped into these people as fate would have it, and they're cheering me on now that they've seen me power through the resistance, not realizing that their role was to provide some resistance to me so that I could build some strength I would then be able to apply, to this day. So, the resistance is going to come, and that's where, the deep work, comes in. And anytime you step into a new calling and you make a new declaration of the self, you're going to be met with opposition. And, this is what I teach people, to develop the fortitude to work through that opposition, basically.